All right, Shalom. This is Horror One by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Ha Rekar Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. All right, this is going to be a video dealing with the current prophecies, current events taking place over there in the Middle East. You have things heating up, moving quick. The wars and rumors of wars, nation rising against nation, but the end is not yet. But this is the beginning of the end. This is what I believe and others believe to be the start of the Battle of Armageddon, which is going to lead to a hot war, ultimately a climax war of World War III. All right. Now we've seen nations like U.S., Russia, China, all having talks of getting involved in this Middle East conflict between Israel, the agents, Illuminati agents of Israel, and also the agents over in Hamas, Palestine. All right, what you would call the Gaza Strip. Now, there's talks of a ground invasion, which would involve a mass of troops from the Israelis, who are originally the Khazars, which goes back to Edomites. They're saying they're prepared, and they're preparing, and they're just waiting for the right moment to unleash their ground invasion, which is going to involve tanks. All right, and they're saying they're going into Gaza with their mindset is to clear that whole place out. They're saying it's for hostages or whatever reason, but their whole goal is to clear that whole place out, man, and take over the whole of Palestine. That's the goal. All right. Now, Iran is talking to getting involved. They're already involved through Hezbollah. What's it called? Hezbollah. And then you have the Houthi rebels getting involved. You got Lebanon, Jordan, Syria. All these areas spoken of prophetically in the scriptures, the kings of those nations rising up against the Israelis and also America, all right, the West. So this is an article that was read on the YouTube by BP Earth, all right, BP Earth Watch. Great, he has a great page to where he talks about the weather. When he goes into the scriptures, he goes off a lot. You know what I mean? He ain't too sharp, too shabby on the scriptures, but you can tell he knows something going on. You know, so he knows America's Babylon. You know, things like that. But I watch him for the weather, and now he's throwing out a lot of current events and updates dealing with the war. So I'm going to read it, and they titled it Armageddon. This is from, I don't know what website he got it from. They always hide the websites. But it says Armageddon. That's what they're calling it. It says FS Tonier joins the NATO forces. Plan to withdraw. Their plan is to go over there in the Middle East and withdraw 600,000 Americans from the Middle East, which a lot of them are American ambassadors. It says U.S. deploys 12 new AA systems and an F-16 squadron. Phew. So they deployed 12 new AA systems. All right. So let's see something real quick. This is a little example of the machinery that America already sent over there. Now, Russia, as of I think yesterday, they said they're going to send over a nuclear-empowered aircraft carrier, man. It's called a nuclear deterrent aircraft, and they put it over in Iran to protect Iran. So this is an example. It says Israel's crisis naval deployment. So what did they send? The first carrier battle group sent on October 8th was the aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford, the cruiser USS Normandy, destroyers USS Thomas Hudner, USS Ramage, USS Carney, USS Roosevelt, and the second carrier battle group sent on October 15th. Aircraft carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Nimitz class. All right. They sent over also on the October 15th of this month the cruiser USS Philippine Sea, destroyers USS Mason, USS Gravely. Carrier strike groups are likely accompanied by support ships, right? If you ever see an aircraft carrier, you know there's submarines around, period. Where there's aircraft carriers, there's nuclear subs right up under there. Period. They go hand in hand. All right, so submarines. It says U.S. Air Force announced deployment to the region of squadrons of F-15s, F-16s, and A-10s fighter aircraft, man. So all of that is over there in the Middle East right now. We got China sending ships over. You got Turkey giving Israel a 24-hour notice. All right, saying they're going to go against Israel with political or military options. So this is all prophetic. All right, Armageddon. Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. I mean, it's going to be seen as true. It's going to come true. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, man. All right, so don't go back into the world. Don't fall asleep. Keep that fire. Keep that ambition. Keep the spirit of truth. All right, keep that spirit of prophecy. And prepare ourselves for the return of Yahushua, man. The King of Israel. That's what this represents. Now you got Klaus Schwab over in Western Europe, globalist Edomite, talking. He had talks of pushing the MOTB, saying everybody will have a digital, situation in their bodies by 2026, allegedly. So if you think about it, they had Agenda 30, which later changed to Agenda 25, 2025. So they're coming down with great wrath because they know they got a short time. A short time, man, to rule. They got a short time before Russia and China build their new world order. So they're trying to beat them to the punch. And they kicked off World War III, starting with Armageddon, to stir up conflict in the Middle East, so they'll never have peace over there. Peace for Israel with those Arab nations means destruction for Iran and Palestine. Peace for Iran and Palestine in the Middle East means destruction for Israel. This was all planned even before the establishment of Israel. All right, so this is Armageddon, and the Lord knew their plans. The Lord, the one that created it, because what they call the sovereign state of Israel was established by Esau, or what you would call Britain. All right, I forgot his name, man. I think he called his name Lord Balfour, and the Rothschilds. They established those Israelis, the Khazars, in that land of Palestine as a gift to those Israeli Edomites, and as a precursor for this right here, because this was written almost 100 years before Israel was established in that land of Palestine. So it says here, Albert Pike's letter to Mazzini. All right, Mazzini was a person that was hired by allegedly part of the Illuminati, that hired the top 33rd degree Mason that worshiped the devil. In an open statement, the morals of dogma. He hired him to come up with a selection of three different plans, and one of the plans was a World War III plan. And we can see clearly the one that they went with. It says Albert Pike's letter to Mazzini. The Illuminati plan for 3 world wars, allegedly. August 15th, 1871. All right, so let's get into, we know about the First World War that happened. The Second World War happens precisely to this plan. All right. And now they're moving into this third phase. It says here, the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences. See, they're taking advantage. The globalists are taking advantage, as they've done in many wars, of the differences between two nations. The same thing they did with the Gadites. They came over here and took advantage of the differences between the Gadite, issues that they had over here. Any differences they had. So Esau takes advantage of that, divide and conquer. It says the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentures, meaning agents of the Illuminati. So Netanyahu, Hamas, or whoever. Between the political Zionists, which would be Netanyahu and them, and the leaders of the Islamic world. All right, so that's what's being called to the forefront. It's called the Axis now. All right, the Axis, which is a conglomerate of Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, Iran, Saudi Arabia, right? All these different governments coming together because of the atrocities that are happening over there by the hands of those Israelis. All right, they call themselves Jews, but they're not the true Jews of the scriptures. So they're using the differences. And what's the difference? Them fighting over that land, their religious beliefs. That's what they call it, a holy war between Islam and Talmudism, because that's not the biblical truth that they study over there. All right. What those Israelis study is from the Talmud. It's a Babylonian book called the Babylonian Talmud. They don't even deal with the Bible. They spit on Christians that deal with the Bible. So it's like, all right. So this is what's happening. There's a silent, hidden hand in the midst, man, over there. Are they moving into the next phase of their plan, which is what, World War III, to cause depopulation on the earth? The lockdowns weren't moving quick enough. The war must be conducted in such a way that, so conduct and controls things. So they're manipulating this war. Conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, so not just one place, Palestine, but this is to draw out all of the Islamic powers over there and around the world. All right. Must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. What are we seeing? A mutual destruction on both sides. I think they said 6,000 people got killed so far in Palestine and 1,500 or so in Israel because of the Iron Dome is protecting them. But that's about to change. The table's about to turn. Iran said the hour has come. They raised the black flag of mourning, not the red flag, but the black flag of mourning. And they're all coming together. And they said if Israel does this ground invasion, expect the earthquakes in Israel. Woo. Expect the response. Russia said the same thing. China moving over there, but they're moving silent. And what did Israel say in response? What did Netanyahu say in response? The ground invasion will happen. It's just they're waiting for the right time. What they're doing is they're waiting for America to get set up. They're waiting for their allies to get situated. So it says here, they're going to mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical. So all the nations are being, what that's the scripture say, the least of them, surely the least of them shall draw them out, drawing out these these bigger countries like America, Russia, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia. They're being drawn into the war, Turkey. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. So that's what we're about to see. They're going to exhaust all their resources. They're going to exhaust all their faith. They're going to exhaust all of their faith that they have in their idols and their false beliefs, because they're going to see that God is not with them. All right, it's going to be a mutual destruction. And economical exhaustion. That way they said Gaza is about to collapse. That was on the news yesterday. We shall, and see, once that happens, that's when they're going to do what? It says, we shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists. So get ready for that. A lot of media, a lot of entertainers going to start popping up. A lot of spokespersons going to come out to the forefront, same way Fauci did in their first move, the first chess move they did. All the agents stepped forward. Now where they at? It's just quiet. Everybody was speaking. Do this, do that. You should do this, you should do that. When Kanye West was being attacked, everybody was speaking. All these agents were stepping up. Entertainers, media, So get ready for that. So how do you get ready for that? We fortify our minds and we stay occupied in the scriptures. All right, putting on the helmet of truth, or the breastplate of truth. Meanwhile, the other nations, all right, so we shall unleash the nihilists and atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm. Get ready for a collapse, economic collapse, world economic collapse too, with which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, how would they call them, savages over there in the Middle East and Israel, and of the most bloody turmoil. So it's going to freak everybody out, and they're going to lose faith in what they believe. And ultimately, their plan is to bring out the worship of the spiritual demon Satan out to the open. Devil worship. So that's what this is leading to in the MOTB. And the AI technology. New world order. So when we see this situation in the Middle East, it's not even Middle East, but it's just the East. Armageddon, which would be Armageddon. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get into that too. It's all planned. Ultimately, we know it's the spirit and power and the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 said we know. Let me get that. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, man. So if it was 2,000 years ago, we'll be looking for the prophecies of Yahushua showing up. We'll be looking for the mystery of iniquity, Daniel chapter 9, the abomination that maketh desolate, 70 AD. You know, the prophecy of the Lord's word going out to the Gentile Israelites, starting with Peter, Paul, and Barnabas. So these are the prophecies we'll be looking for. So in these times, measure thou the time diligently in itself. So the times we're in now, we're looking for salvation. We're looking for Armageddon to happen, and it's happening. We're looking for the MOTB to be pushed, World War III, so on and so on. So measure thou the time diligently in itself, whatever time we're in. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. See, it ain't about Esau. Yeah, it's the Albert Pike plan, so it's their plan. No, it's the Most High's plan. The Most High controls their thoughts. The Most High gives them their plans that they're going to do to ultimately destroy themselves. All right, going to go into perdition. The Lord had them dig the ditch so they can fall into that ditch. It says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the Most High, the highest, will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, we're seeing earthquakes and we're seeing uproars of all these nations in the world rising up against each other. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. Meaning he's going to manifest it in this world. At the end it shall speak and not lie. All right. So let's get into this real quick. Revelation 16 and 16. This whole chapter speaks about the destruction of the wicked, the destruction of 2/3, and also these heathens. That's what this is going to lead to. All right. And it says, I'll start from 15. Behold, I come as a thief, meaning unexpectedly. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments. So you're blessed if you're watching, if you're awoke, and you're keeping yourself clean as much as you can in this truth. Lest he walk naked and they see his shame. All right. So who's going to see your shame if you walk in wickedness? Like, I hate to say it, man, these Sakari camps. I know a lot of people love them, but they still not walking right. IUIC, ISUPK. So we're seeing their shame. They don't see it, but we see it. And the angels see it. And the Lord sees it. All right. So they're walking, but they're walking naked. And if you was outside and you had no clothes on, you would cover up and be embarrassed. Unless you're a Hamite. But so it represents what? Shame. And he gathered them together into a place. So the Lord is gathering all these nations together. All right. He gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. So the focus is what? In the Hebrew tongue. Not in the Greek tongue, not in the English tongue. The whole focus is going back to the Hebrew. And Yiddish is not Hebrew. You gotta go back to the Paleo Hebrew, which is also truly called the Lashawan Kodash, the Holy Tongue. All right. So it's called Armageddon. So if we look up this word, Megiddo, all right, it would be Har Magadwan or Har Megiddo. Now, he gathered them to this place. And it says, Megadon, Megiddo, and it's a place of many wars in the ancient times and also in the 1800s. All right, the Saudis or the Persians, I think, went in there and attacked Palestine. And King Solomon built military establishments over there in Megiddo. All right, Turkey went to war over there. So it's a heavy militarized area for battle. Megiddo. Let me show you on the map. All right, so it's just crazy because we know the valley of Jehoshaphat is ultimately near the valley of Kidron and going all the way out to what you would call the Persian Gulf. But right here you have the area of Megiddo. And look where it's at. That whole area is a hotbed for war right now. Israel just dropped bombs all across this right here to stop the people running from Gaza. Well, right here. To stop the Palestinians running from Gaza into Egypt for help. So they fighting over the West Bank. And this right here, Gaza Strip, which is known as an open air prison. So they want to take that. This all originally belonged to the Canaanites, which later belonged to us. All right. But the Palestinians had that land later. And Israel conquered it and took over it little by little. And now they want to wipe them out. See that? This is where helping the devil gets you. Total control of these Edomites. They want total control. So the U.S. forces deployment area, where they're being deployed to, the Golan Heights, Israel occupied over here. See that? This is all being gathered with this is forces, the UN forces, the troops. They got ships out here. All right, you got Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, all these areas, Saudi Arabia, getting involved in this war. That's why it's called the Battle of Armageddon or Armageddon. All right. So this word, let me get this first. What you have to look up is the word mountain, and you would find the word Har. All right, Har, which means hill, mountain, hill country. Okay, the mountainous range of hills. All right, so that would be Har. And then you have Magadwan, which would, or in English would be Megiddo. All right. Yep, Magadwan. You can see it right here in the Yiddish. Magadwana. Magadwan. And it means what? Place of crowds. A gathering of troops. Forces. Rendezvous. What are they saying? Military? And it says what? A place in Palestine. Megiddo. And they're being gathered to those areas. All right, so it said what? A rendezvous. Rendezvous. All right. So it's let me go back to it real quick. All right, so Har means mountain, or that whole area. And it says rendezvous for Magadwan, a place in Palestine, a place of crowds. Rendezvous. So what's a rendezvous? It's a noun. It means place appointed for assembling of troops. All right, we're seeing this happening. This is the place that the Lord appointed for all the troops to assemble at and go to war. But the World War III is going to climax and be a hot war between these major countries. It's going to start over there. It's going to end up with ICBMs and or what you call cyber attacks, and ICBMs being launched from one country to another, like Russia to America. It's the final prophecy of the scriptures before Yahushua, while Yahushua returns. So that's the word Armageddon in the Hebrew tongue. Revelation 16:16, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon or Harmageddon, which means a place appointed for assembling of troops, a rendezvous. All right, Magadwan. In the Greek, it says Armageddon. That's Greek. And it means the hill or city of Megiddo. That's that area. They had a lot of wars in that area, Megiddo. It's a desert, dry area. And it's perfect for a battle. It looked like a stadium if you look at it. Look at videos and pictures of it. It's like a wide open range for war. All right, so this is all prophetic. And they said, hey man, if this doesn't get stopped, I think his name was Jordan Maxwell, old Edomite. They used to, talk conspiracies, which is no longer a theory anymore. Now, he said, if the American people don't stop the globalists by 1996, then expect Armageddon to happen and start the process of it from in 1996 and beyond. Now, what do we have after 96? You had the Battle of Desert Storm with Daddy Bush. And what did he say? We have a formidable moment to start a new world order. He said, when we're successful, and we will be. And the Lord took his ass out. They're not going to be successful. The Lord said when they go to fill their belly and in their sufficiency, the Lord's going to rain fire upon them. Kyle I'm like, how about Shem Shad, man? All right, so Joel 2:20. So who's controlling this? The gathering of the troops. The Lord is using the angels, and of course the angels are controlling the minds of these heathens to bring them to the battle. The scriptures say the Lord controls the hearts of the kings and steers it as whithersoever he will. All right. Joel 2:20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army. The northern army represents America. That's why they scattered all over the world, and they're over there in the Middle East now. And will drive him into a land barren and desolate. That land that's barren and desolate was ultimately what? Kuwait or Arabia, Iraq. That desert lands. It's like people always wonder, like, what the hell are they doing over there? Occupying over there. And Iran's hope is to deoccupy the U.S. from that area. And his face towards the East Sea, which is really ultimately pointing towards Iran. And his hinder part toward the utmost sea. All right. So I think it would be towards the Red Sea. And his face towards I forgot the name of that sea is the Black Sea. All right. So now here it says. This is where they came to for the war. I don't like this map. It's all bunched up. Let's see if we got another one. It's clear, but it's too bunched up. All right. So here we go. This is better. So in 2000, I think it's 2003 is when it started. I remember I was playing a military game at that time. I was young. I was playing a military game. Was it on Nintendo or Genesis? And it was called Guerrilla Warfare. It's just coincidental. I was playing a military game at that time, and the war started breaking out. And now, I don't play games, but I have this one called Ghost Recon Wildlands. And you got this war breaking out. So it says here, he's driven them into a land that's barren and desolate. What's that? Kuwait, Iraq. All right, when they promised to protect the oil fields when they didn't. Years later, those oil fields were burned. So his hinder part from the Red Sea, and they're showing you they're showing you their direction. It says their face towards the utmost sea, which is going past the Persian Gulf, the Euphrates River. All of these are prophetic areas. And pointing towards the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea, was really, originally, if you do the history, it used to be one big sea, the Caspian Sea and Black Sea. And that area dried up, called Georgia, Russia today. So his hinder part was towards the Red Sea, and the direction is going towards Iran and going towards Russia. That's their goal, is to conquer Iran. All right. So that's what their goal is, to go here. So Armageddon is really to draw these nations into the war. All right. So they can have a foothold on Russia from a different side. And Russia already has nuclear warships on 24-hour readiness in the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, and they're going to war over here near in Ukraine. So all of this is that valley that the Lord was talking about, the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, where he's going to judge their armies at. And he said their stink shall come up. There's going to be a lot of death. All right. It says here, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, American army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the East Sea. So it's been already in motion since 1990s and the 1800s with the Albert Pike Plan, and the 1948 with the establishment of the Khazars in Palestine, calling themselves Israelis, just so they could bring about the agentures of the Illuminati and the Muslim world, and get them to fight against each other as a hotbed for war, or what they call a powder keg. They already had it in motion. They already had the powder keg in place. Now somebody had to do is just, the cartoons, they used to make the gunpowder trail to the powder keg and get far away from it. That's what they've done. And then they light that John, and then it goes all the way to the power cake and explodes. And now it's ignited, and all hell's breaking loose. And says, with his face towards the east sea, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea, and his stink shall come up. All right, so a lot of death, a lot of dead bodies gonna be left over there. And his ill savor shall come up because he have done great things. All right, so this is another scripture for Armageddon. And it's always good to bring this out until that major prophecy get pushed. Now there's talks of a possible collapse or economic collapse on October 31st. All right, I may have to do a lesson on that too, Yahweh Ratazah. So we in a heavy time of prophecy, and when they push that digital currency, that's when we know the Lord said, "Look up, cause your salvation draweth nigh, is at the door." Whew, man, right? Kal halayim leha bashim yahushai. I almost said, "Turn them up, George." I'm about to snap. Woo! Mark 13:8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. So they're rising up. We're seeing that. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. All over the world is happening earthquakes. All right. And there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. And that's it. It's just the beginning. All right, of the sorrows, of the hell that's coming upon this earth. And we see what's happening over there. It's going to be much worse around the world real soon, especially here in America. So, yeah, I just want to do a lesson real quick on this topic dealing with Armageddon or Megiddo, Armageddon, which means rendezvous, place for gathering troops in the hill countries. All these nations are bearing down on Israel. All right, for the big war to kick off. So we're looking for that ground invasion, and then be looking for a response from the Muslim world, where they were, according to their plans, allegedly, they were mutual destruction. All right. So with that, the topic was Armageddon. FS Tornir joins NATO forces and plans to withdraw 600,000 Americans from the Middle East. I want to see them do that. I want to see them do that with a smooth, safe process. Yeah, okay. U.S. deploys 12 new AA systems and an F-16 squadron. State Department evacuates diplomats from Iraq. Bahrain, Kuwait is to follow. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom. This was a lesson from Harawan Banyasha Olive Lions Den Camp on his Armageddon topic. And I want to say Kal halayim leha bashim yahushai, Bahashim Harakak Kodash. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Keep pushing, keep praying, and keep praising, man. We almost out of here. Shalom.